what is QA looking like in terms of the number of positions open right now? Also in your tweets, you talked about how there will always be a demand for QA positions. Can you expand on that? Yeah, so I'll answer the last part first. Um, Anything that requires a human, anything that has liability, where, if there's a failure, we need to point fingers. We'll always have a human. It will never be replaced by AI or very minimally. Okay. So this is why I think self-driving cars will never get off the ground. Like will be mass adopted because as soon as you have like a fatal crash, we're not going to be happy. We're very forgiven if forgiven, in quotations, but we understand if like a person had a crash, if they lost control of the vehicle, if they didn't know what to do, and like we understand because we're humans and we can see ourselves again with some leeway, right? Like there obviously we don't have a lot of sympathy for like drunk drivers and reckless drivers, but like a normal accident, we mostly go like, wow, yeah, what are you gonna do? Things happen, right? Like at best you go to court, right? But and even like the person's affected, like they can point the finger to you. It's like you crash, you crashed my car, right? So if a robot is the one piloting things, it's like, are you going to sue Tesla? Are you going to sue like are you going to blame who are you going to blame, right? Like, oh, what was the problem? It's just an act of God. The program, you will not have the same sympathy, the same patience for a robot to do it. Like you and humans in general, right? Like people in general will not tolerate a robot screwing up. Think about how mad you get when you call like a bank and you have to deal with an automated phone system versus like remember how upset like and mad you can get versus like just talking to a human besides the problem, right? Like you can get mad at the phone representative, right? Because she's not solving your problem, right? But you are not mad at the interaction, right? Like you're not mad at the interaction, right? So think of it like that. And so bringing this back to QA, any work that needs to be basically approved that it has no major flaws, or like let's say that enough testing was done to enough due diligence was done, will not be given to robots at least in a very long time. Like I think like not in our lifetimes. I think not ever. Like if I'm honest, like I think it's like not ever. But yeah, like never say never. So with QA, it's QA again, quality assurance. It's quality control. It is the last part of the chain in a sense. So you will always want to have, or we will always want to have a high level of human oversight. Because also why? Because when something goes wrong, when something goes right, it's like it's almost like things go right the same way all the time. It's just like it fit, like whatever it was, the arrow hit the target. It's like that all the time. But when things go wrong, they can go wrong in a million different ways, and there's a lot of ambiguity. There's a lot of like, think about how if you get accused of something, right? Like how you defend yourself with the ambiguities of the case, right? Like, well, I wasn't told this wasn't clear. You never go with like, well, I mean, you do, but it's very rare that if it's something huge where you were just like a tiny part of the entire process, that you like, you jump on that grenade. It's like, yes, it's 100% my fault. Like you go like, no, this process was ambiguous. The instruction wasn't clear enough. The requirements weren't 100% understood. So when there's that level of ambiguity operating, again, it's not that computers can't handle it. I think they can't in a very real way. But at the same time, like I've been very impressed by ChatGPT and Claude sometimes. But it's not about like if they can or they cannot. It's about the fact that we don't like it when the computer makes the call on an ambiguous thing, right? Especially when there's like some sort of damage involved. So that's why I'm thinking that's why I basically predict that QA will be here for a very long time. What might happen though is that they just ship all the QA jobs abroad, basically. So like there's a QA boom, all right. Like there's a QA explosion, but you're not seeing it because everybody in Latin America, Eastern Europe, and India are the ones like reaping those benefits because employers, employers have no morals, no ethics. They only have like legal limits. So they will always want to lower those costs because QA doesn't. Let me put it like this: QA doesn't give like direct value to the business in the sense of like when let's say that you're building something. When you add like you're building like a building, if you add like a one more floor to the building, well, that adds more capacity, right? Like the construction company can sell, the building is worth more. You can sell that floor. You can rent it out. It's like it's like more money, right? With QA telling you something like, yeah, hey, you shouldn't add one more floor, like you should, like be careful, whatever, or like the construction is not sound. It's like, yeah, it's helping the business, but it's like it's not more dollars, basically. Like it's not adding more capacity, it's not adding more value. In that like direct like value equals money. It's adding value in the sense of like it's protecting the business from what? From lawsuits, right? From legal limits, right? Like it's like a reminder of the legal limits in a sense, quality control in the abstract. So that's why employers do not necessarily think too highly of quality and quality control. It's something that is like foisted upon them by the law. If they could get away with, like, again, if employers could get away with they do enslave us, like wage slavery is a type of slavery. But if like they could not pay you anything, they could. Like if they could get you to work for and you see this whenever they can get away with it, like with internships, they do it, right? They don't go like, oh, I want to maximize the utility, or like want to maximize the comfort and the happiness of my interns, so therefore I'm going to pay them as much as possible. Like no, you go like no, right to exploitation. Well, exploitation has a specific definition. It doesn't just mean like treating people badly. Exploitation, well, I'm not going to get into a whole Marxist dialectic here about like definition of exploitation and alienation. But the point is that if they could do that, they could. Like if they could have us all work for free and just like die and bring in the next person, they would. And it's the same like if they could do away with like regulation, and they try to get away from regulations all the time, but like like quality standards and that sort of stuff, like they totally would. So employers have no ethics, no morals, no reciprocity, and at this stage of the economic system, they seem to not even have the capacity to think long term. So all they have is legal limits, right? So like all they obey is like the law, they obey the law. But what I mean is like all they respect is basically the sword, the threat of violence. That's all they actually respect. So that's, this is a long way to answer to say that QA will, as long as like the law requires some level of due diligence on the part of quality and quality control, that will always be assigned to humans, but it won't necessarily be assigned to humans where you live. It will be assigned to humans wherever they can find them the cheapest, unless the law does something to stop that, basically.